Hi everyone! This video is going to be about how to improve your intuition. Just what is intuition exactly? Well, it is pretty much the ability to know things without any evidence to back it up, without any interference. It's like that gut feeling you get. You may know something but have no way of proving it. That is intuition. We all have intuition, but some of us are more in tune with it. Some may pass it off because there is no logic there, while others rely on their intuition to guide them through life. There are those that are referred to as psychics because they seem to be able to predict the future because they rely on their intuition. Your intuition is never wrong, but how we may perceive the information can be flawed. We are human beings after all, we make mistakes. One's intuition is completely independent of logic, thought, and emotions. When you become emotionally invested in an idea or a person, it may interfere with your instinct. For instance, let's say you are looking to hire someone to work for your business. One candidate is exactly what you're looking for and could bring a lot of innovative ideas to the corporation. The other candidate is a friend of yours. Your friend is not as qualified, but you know more about them more personally. It will upset them if you do not hire them, as you know they are out of the job and eagerly looking for income to support their family. You've become emotionally invested in your friend and are more likely to hire them despite the fact that they are not qualified. You know you should hire the first candidate, yet decide against it. If you looked at both objectively and unbiased, the decision would have been clear. Sometimes our intuition helps us in different ways. Let's say you are running late to work and you just missed a green light. You wanted to run the light because it just turned yellow, but felt like you should stop, despite the fact that you are running late. Right before your eyes, a car goes speeding by, and instantly you know that if you ran that light, you would have been hit. I've even had a similar experience where I was about to get into a turning lane, and right before I was about to, a car came speeding by. I instantly felt lucky that I didn't pull over because I knew this car would have crashed into me. You could call it a guardian angel or spirit guide, but perhaps it is intuition. Personally, I rely a lot on my intuition. Majority of my decisions are based on my intuition and the feeling I have about something. When a situation doesn't seem right, I avoid it. Or when I have a feeling I should do something, I do it. A lot of my intuition can be right there in the moment, or perhaps about a future event, so I could plan all my actions before proceeding. How I see intuition working is that fate is predetermined, and thus coincidences do not exist. I do not believe we can change fate. Intuition allows us to read from what life has planned for us. The most minor thing in our life could in fact be a very significant event. Everything happens for a reason, and learning to be observant and introspective and understanding why certain things happen to us is what allows us to find our life's purpose. We all have a purpose, a destiny, if you will. By developing our intuition, we may find our life's purpose and fulfill what life has planned. Over the years, I have learned my life's purpose and see every day as a learning experience. Even if it's a bad day, there is a reason why it was a bad day. What are some ways you can improve your insight? Well, the number one most important thing is to learn to trust it. Trust those feelings you get that seem to come out of nowhere without any reason. Trust is the number one most important factor, because if you cannot believe the feeling you get and believe in yourself, then you will not act upon it. It is a very good thing to act upon feelings you get when it comes to your intuition. Now, I'm not saying to act upon bad impulses or addictions or anything like that, or if you have obsessive compulsive traits, it has nothing to do with that. The feeling is very different. Another big thing is to allow thoughts and images to flow through your mind without repressing them or changing them. That is where creativity comes from. Those that are creative allow their thoughts to flow freely. One big tip is to have someone say a word to you, and you could reply with a word or sentence that pops into your mind first. You do this without thought. It should be whatever comes to mind first. So if I say the word fruit, what comes to mind? You shouldn't think about it or analyze it, just whatever pops into your head. Analyzing it, even if you're completely unaware you're doing it, is counterproductive. With the example I provided about the word fruit, you shouldn't need to think about it, what kind of fruit, or perhaps what your favorite fruit is. It should just be whatever comes to you naturally and spontaneously. If the word that comes to you is television, and you think about it and say to yourself, that's not a fruit, then you have already begun to discount your initial thought because you are second guessing what came into your mind. You then change what you were thinking to that of an actual fruit, because that would be the most logical response. But as I said earlier, intuition is independent of logic. Once you begin to trust your intuition and allow ideas to flow, then you will notice that ideas come to you much easier. Something that happens to me, which is very interesting, is that there are times I will get these visions in my mind. I can usually see them clearer when my eyes are closed, but it is like a movie that plays in my mind. I watch and study the movie, but do not make any attempt to alter it. I watch as the events unfold and try to figure out what it all means. There are also tools you can use that aid you in developing your intuition. A very powerful tool is tarot cards. Just learning what the cards mean themselves is good, but it is mainly about how the cards correlate with one another in the spread and how they relate to the person or event you are trying to gather some insight on. As I said earlier, emotions can prevent proper readings. So if you're using tarot cards as a tool and are trying to read about an event you or a friend is going through and you feel one-sided and cannot be unbiased, then that will interfere with your intuition and prevent an accurate reading. Sometimes this is inevitable since it can be difficult to be unbiased. We can hold attachments and become very emotional over certain things that can interfere with our intuition. So the biggest things are to trust your intuition and allow ideas to flow. You can use tools such as tarot cards to help develop it further, but be aware that intuition is independent of logic, thought, and emotion. Being unbiased and objectively looking at the situation is the only way to accurately read one's intuition. I hope this video was informative. Thanks for watching.